Patrick Beneil joined the pregame show now by Halifax Mooseheads head coach JJ Daigneault, familiar name from his days in the NHL, and fans got used to him last year, his first year in the queue. JJ, before we talk about this year's Mooseheads, tell us about last season, your first year as a QMJHL coach.
Yes, well, I really enjoyed my last season. It was a very good experience for a first-year head coach. Not always an easy situation here in Halifax. Obviously, we started the season with an injured number one goalie. That being said, Cole McLaren came up really big in the first 10 or 11 games of the season. I think it was a learning experience last year. Obviously, towards the course of the season, we traded all our top players to pick up some good young draft picks in this year's draft. So I think that the Mooseheads really had to do that since they had gone to the Memorial Cup the year before. I got to live the cycle of the junior hockey where obviously every 3 or 4 years you have to reload on your talent and grow with the young kids.
You come off training camp, which is a bit extended. Tell us how you like the competition level at Mooseheads camp this year.
What I really like is thus far, we have some good young kids that are competing hard. Right off the get-go, we can see that the execution is much better than it was last year. Obviously, last year we knew going into the season that with Lavoie, Gru, and Trepanier, it tapered down quite a bit when you looked at our 4th to our 12th and forward. I'm not taking anything away from these guys, but it's just the fact that the team had got to the Memorial Cup and we had lost a lot of good 19-year-old players. Also the fact that Isaac wasn't playing last year. But this year, the kids have been growing really fast, and we've been into it for 3.5 weeks right now. We all know that 4 young kids coming from junior, and I had to live that with kids coming from junior to the AHL as well as AHL to the AHL. It's always an adjustment to pace. But they've done a good job so far. We have kids that came from good programs, that have good work ethic, that want to learn. So when you have that on your side to start with, I think you have a good base.
You talked about Cole McLaren. Tell us about Cole really getting his first chance to take the starter's reins. How ready is he for that?
He's one of our 20-year-old this year. The year that the Mooseheads went to the Memorial Cup was a very, obviously, competitive team. Although he only played 20-some games, played really well that year. I thought he played well for us last year as well, but I think he was under duress quite a bit towards the end of the season when the roster was a little bit depleted. But Cole's a good team player. He's a leader. He likes to compete. He's been very good in training camp. Obviously, we're all looking forward to see him perform throughout the course of this year.
Look at this Halifax team and a Maritime Division team. You'll get to see a lot throughout the year. Do you have any expectations or goals as to where this team could finish in this season?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's going to be a one-day-at-a-time proposition for us. We're a team that's going to try to get better on a daily basis. We're going to try to excel on a daily basis. There's going to be some ups and downs. There's going to be a learning curve. But it's very difficult right now to take a look at teams around us and see what they are. Obviously, we played St. John, who's extremely talented. We played Charlottetown, who's a team that has a strong work ethic. We knew that Cape lost a lot of quality players on their first line. But I think that before we play the team in the Atlantic Division a few times, it's tough for us to predict where we're going to be. We're going to try to get better on a daily basis, and it's going to lead us where it's going to lead us.
You see Cape Breton a couple of times in the early part of the preseason, so it might be tough to gauge. But based on what you saw from the Eagles, both last year and this year's preseason, what do you expect from them this year?
They're a team that's well-structured. They're a team that play well together. They defend well. I think they're a team that counters fast. Obviously, they have some good skilled players up front. We all know that they lost the quality players in goal scoring with Sokolov and a few others, but I think they're a well-coached team. They play well. Like I said, they have a good structure. They compete. They have some good vets on the backside with LaRose and Baker, good young kids that will probably have more responsibilities this year on the backside. I think Cape's going to have a good team. They're going to be very competitive.